Check out freecondomsmemphis.org and get some.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Want to talk about sex? Talk about condoms at freecondomsmemphis.org. Get some before you get some. freecondomsmemphis.org.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Dear HIV,
I may have gotten you,
but you will never, ever get the best of me.
I take charge of my health.
I take my HIV meds every day.
I don't just live with you. I live well with you.
HIV treatment works.
Get in care.
Stay in care.
Live well.
Choices is a nonprofit sexual health clinic in Midtown Memphis. We accept TennCare and offer patient assistance to help pay for needed services. Choices is proud to provide comprehensive reproductive health services in an LGBTQ-affirming environment. We offer a wide range of services, such as general wellness, fertility assistance, STI testing and treatment, reproductive health services for people living with HIV, including PrEP and PEP, birth control, Gardasil vaccinations, abortion services, miscarriage management, and services for trans and gender nonconforming people, including hormone replacement therapy. Everybody needs choices.
And we're back. This is the live show on KW 89 Radio 107.9 radio show. We had the K-Powerless community.
What? Perfect. Yeah, no.
You don't understand nothing I said. That's perfect. We're here with the super attorney, the rising star of the Mid-South, attorney Rob Ranton.
He has a fan club.
The
next time I go to court, could you just kind of come and do a little...
Next time I'm in court, would you just kind of come in before me and do like a WWE sort of hype session for me before I walk in?
I got you.
I think that would help.
I got you. The super lawyer. So we're back. And we were talking about the importance of... You had a question you want to pose.
We were talking about Spill It. He was going to talk about Spill It Memphis. Mm-hmm. So for people that aren't familiar with Spill It Memphis, Rob is going to tell you what it is and how you can follow it, get connected. I got the website pulled up, so we can get involved with what's going on in our community.
Yeah, Spill It's a great organization. It's what the whole theory is: true stories told live in front of a live audience, and without any notes. So Spill It has almost every month they'll put on a show where they'll have storytellers come up and tell a story. Now the format varies. So sometimes they'll do what they call center stage events, where the storytellers will be picked ahead of time. There'll be 4 or 5 of them. And I've done a few of those, and they're a blast. That's how I met Barbara. But then other times they do what's called story slams. Mm-hmm. And you put your name in a fishbowl. You go get yourself a cold drink of some variety. You get your courage up, and then they pull a name out of that fishbowl and will call you, and you get up and you got 5 minutes to tell your story. And you will hear in one night, you'll hear stories that range from, like the horrors of substance abuse to the craziest thing I did on a night out to we had one storyteller was an accountant for a drug cartel. It's just all over the board. It's everything. And the crowd is extremely supportive. You go there and the crowd is cheering you on. The crowd's getting you hyped up. But I highly recommend everyone come. I think it's a great way to get to see the city, get to know part of the city, get to know folks that you wouldn't otherwise meet, and get to hear their story.
And the website is www.
Oh, you're so conscious.
www.spillitmemphis.org. SPILLIT Memphis.org.
Yeah, I'm a little slow, so I just got it.
Spill it.
Yeah.
Spill your story.
Are you gonna spill it? Spill it.
Yeah, everybody's got a story.
Yeah,
spill it.
Spill it.
Everybody has one.
So now you got it. Spill it.
Yeah, it's interesting because over the past few years, there have been a bunch of different podcasts kind of come up that have to do with live storytelling in front of in front of a live audience. Mm-hmm. And and Spill It is our hometown version, and it's wonderful. They have great storytellers, and they're a blast.
So, how important is it to create a narrative from a legal perspective to help drive the importance of this issue of being inclusive, diverse, all the above?
Yeah, I think so. I used to be a prosecutor back many years ago. And,
no way.
Yeah, I know. Moving on. But one of this like kind of old Minnesotan prosecutor told me, he said, he's like, here's the key to all legal cases. The best story wins.
Yeah.
The best story wins. And all right, let's look at what's happened lately in the news. Recently, Jeff Sessions, and y'all can react how you want. I will maintain an even demeanor. But he came out and he said transgender is not protected under Title VII.
Right, he did.
So businesses around the country probably took that to heart. Unfortunately for Jeff Sessions and those businesses, the Sixth Circuit and other courts said, no, you're wrong. It does. And it's so you had people coming through and feeling that they could openly discriminate. Right. There was a case, it's called Harris Funeral Home, is the recent case that came down. And their understanding of what the narrative was involving transgender was, we can do whatever we want. And they openly discriminated against this woman. It's one of those rare Title VII cases where they came out and did it intentionally. What? And said that they fired this woman because she was transgender. Unfortunately, that business did not understand the underlying narrative of Title VII, that gender stereotyping and treating people differently based on a gender stereotype can very easily be against the law. Right. They just read that directive and, went and did their thing. So I think that's why you've got to get everyone on the same narrative I think the narrative, the key concepts of the narrative are everyone's voice matters.
Yes.
If someone comes to you with a complaint, it matters. Take it seriously and investigate and treat people along the line, treat people in accordance to their ability and drive and their dedication to their job. And those should be your only factors. That's the story. I mean, and if you follow those, you're looking okay. That said, you can still, lawyers have created 8,000 traps for well-intentioned employees to end up violating the law. But yeah, I think the key is to have everyone understand that the narrative is everyone has a right to be who they are.
I think many people miss that very first one that you said, that everyone has a voice. And the last one, treat people the way you want to be treated, point blank. I mean, it's not that hard. And so, especially here in the South, certain people have the voice, quote unquote, and they don't want to listen to the other voices. And they have their privilege, so they treat individuals beneath them and all the above. But it's so important to just treat everyone equal, and listen to people's complaints. Like you said, everyone has a complaint. Right. Even a person who's being the a-hole has a complaint. Right. Believe it or not. So,
Well, that I get more employees that get in trouble legally because they have an employee, or more employers that get in trouble because they have an employee who's just awful. Just a horrible person that complains all the time. They never do and they forget though that each complaint needs to be considered individually.
Yes.
So they'll gloss over some because they think that this person's just whiny.
Yeah.
And that is a recipe for disaster. And, it's also probably just a bad idea from a number of reasons.
So what we want to do now with the last maybe 10 minutes that we have is go ahead and really kind of drive this event that you all have coming up on Thursday the 16th. We want to, promote that, put it out there, talk again about where it's going to be and the importance of having this Barbara talk about her transgender experience.
Yeah, and I wish Barbara could be here. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, you're stuck with me, which is, I guarantee you, less entertaining than having Barbara and Josh here. Josh is the creative director of Spill It. But the event, it's August 16th, starts at 4:30. It's at High Cotton Brewery, which is a great place, great beer, great room. The way the event's going to be set up is it's going to start off with a 30-minute legal presentation by me. And I'll go through kind of the basics of here's what the law requires, here's what the law allows, here's how we understand your transgender employees and transgender customers, what the law says about this. And then we'll take a 15-minute break for everyone to, try to wake back up, try to come back to, and then we'll have 30 minutes of Barbara coming in and telling her story and her experience. And it's, I don't want to give anything away because I will just, it's kind of like when someone tells you the funny part of a movie and it just ruins it for you. Right. But she's an award-winning storyteller. She's won awards in Asheville and in Oxford and in Memphis for her storytelling abilities. She's incredibly gifted and very insightful. And so hopefully between the two, you'll come out with employers will come out with a better understanding of how to create an inclusive work environment. Because it's not necessary. It takes more than good intentions.
Yeah, it does.
So High Cotton Brewery is the new brewery on 598 Monroe. That's downtown, right at Monroe and Madison, where it splits right there off of Union. So you're in the area, 38103. Again, the address is 598 Monroe Avenue, 38103. Come on down. Next Thursday. It's going to be Thursday.
Yep.
And we're going to be at that thing. I will be there.
Is it open to the public?
Well, it's absolutely open to the public. If you register ahead of time, it's $20. If you at the door, it's $25. But what comes with it is you get an hour of CLE. If you're a lawyer, you got to have your continuing legal ed. They're going to yank that law license, and that's no fun. And then it also is an hour of what they call SHRM credits, which are the human resources credits. Oh. So, if your listeners shoot me a message or shoot y'all a message and pass it on to me, I bet we could give them a reduced rate.
I'm a lawyer.
You are now. Congratulations.
Thank you. I used to watch Perry Mason.
No, Perry. What's the most frustrating thing is like when you're going through and having a trial, and I'll walk up and I'll be like, "How many of y'all have seen Law and Order?" Oh, we love that show. Pretty entertaining, right? Yeah. Have you ever seen this process in the trial where we're sitting around doing nothing? I'm like, I assure you that this will not be nearly as fun as Perry Mason. I'm still waiting for that Perry Mason moment where I'm questioning the witness and he just folds. And goes, I'm sorry, Mr. Ratton. I did it. Normally they just look at me and go, okay, well.
So how did your firm become involved with the event and sponsoring the event?
Well, I pitched it to him. Basically, I came up. I met with. I had like I was telling you about. I had this kind of idea and met with Barbara and I and the creative director of Spill It, Josh, and I. We all went out to lunch. And I was like, "Do y'all think this would work?" And so I called some friends of mine that are also lawyers or they're business owners. I was like, "What do y'all think about this?" And they liked it. So we came. The firm loved it. Like even our head partner, who's the CEO of the firm in Atlanta, it's like, you've got to do this. This is a great idea. We think it could really help. And it's interesting because, Starbucks did that big training recently. Yes. They've kind of, and obviously they weren't stealing my idea. I don't think. I don't know. I mean, we're probably going to investigate that. But a lot of the training that they did was kind of along these same lines of this idea of going, hey, you got to know the law. You got to know what the floor is. You can't, if you go below this floor, we're going to come take your money. Mm-hmm. But you also need to hear people's stories. And so they had stories of different folks that worked for them coming out and being like, hey, this is what my experience has been, with implicit bias. This is what my experience has been with all these different things. And, and for most accounts, that was a good training program. So it's kind of the same idea. It's that they serve two different functions. I can teach you the law, but a story, when you hear the story, you learn how to kind of move in those areas that the law doesn't cover.
Yes.
And how to really learn how to hopefully create an environment where all of your employees feel comfortable and like they can thrive.
So this is why you're a rising star. There you go.
Either that or someone was misguided and drinking during the selection process. But one or the, I'll take it. I'll take it however I can get it.
Absolutely. I think that, we are promoting the event on our social media sites and trying to push it and bring up the awareness and let people know, because it's not too often that you hear a law firm tagging their name with an event for the LGBTQ community in any fashion. So I think that that's great. I applaud Fisher Phillips
Thank you.
for being a sponsor and jumping out in front of the issue and being an ally to the community. It's so important to have allies in the LGBT community. And, as you said earlier, and we have these Fortune 500 companies around Memphis, a lot of them, and we need to hear more from you all for the general public. And I understand you maybe do it in your workplace, but what also helped dispel stigma and bring down these walls and these barriers that we have when we have companies stand up. It was kind of like they did against Indiana when